So today we are starting chapter 2, and it starts with finding midpoints and learning about angle bisectors, okay? Over there, I put stuff for your vocab sheet. Write that down, okay? While you're writing that down, I'm going to talk about it, okay? Bisecting means when you divide a line into two equal parts. Okay, it divides the line into two congruent parts. Okay, midpoint means the middle point of a line of two coordinates. Looking at coordinates, okay? And then the midpoint formula, we'll talk about that when we get there. Okay, M is the midpoint of AB. We want to find AM and MB. Okay, so midpoint we said is what? The middle point. Okay, it is M. M is our midpoint. It is the middle, and it splits that segment in half. So these red tick marks mean what?
Middle of the middle.
They're congruent. Okay, those two red tick marks mean that they are congruent. Everyone write that down. Those mean that they are congruent. So if the whole thing is 26, how do we find AM and MB if we know they are the same? 26 divided by 2. It's two equal parts, so we need to divide the whole thing by 2, and you get what? 13. Okay, big thing, remember that those two red tick marks in there mean that the lines are congruent. Okay, so on this one, it says P is the midpoint. That's the middle. And it wants us to find PS and RS. Let's find PS first. If this tick mark is 7, what's the other one? 7, why?
Because it's the same thing.
Because they're congruent, they're the same. Yep, so we found PS. We need to find RS. What's RS?
14.
The whole thing, right? So in order to find this whole thing, we need to combine. So we need 7 plus 7 is 14. Okay?
7, 14.
Okay, I want you guys to try these two. So on number 1, it wants us to find DE and EF. We're finding those congruent marks. Okay? The whole thing is 18. How do we find one of them? Divide by 2. And if we divide by 2, we get?
9.
And that is both of them, right? If you know one, you know the other. Okay? On NP and MP, okay, we know MN is 11. That's one of the red tick marks. What's the other one?
11.
They're the same thing. Now it wants the whole thing. How do we do that? Put them together, we get 22. Are we good there with midpoint understanding? Okay, now we're talking about bisectors. Okay, bisector again means divide it into two equal parts. So we need to find the value of x. So what do we know?
It's 6.
What do we know?
It's 35.
We know one of them's 35. So if this side's 35, this side is 35. So they have it as 5x right now. But we know it needs to equal 35.
So x equals 7?
So now we need to solve for x. How do we solve for x from here? Divide by 5 on both sides. Yep. So x equals 7. So now if you plug 7 back into there, 7 times 5 gives you
35.
that 35. Yeah? Okay, now we're getting into midpoint. Okay, so let's talk about that formula. I don't know why it does this, but that's supposed to be up here. Okay, let's talk about the formula. So we give us these two coordinates. Okay, I always start by labeling our x's and y's so we don't get confused. Label your x's and y's. Okay. First thing, we're looking for that middle point, so our answer is going to be in coordinate form, right? We're looking for an x and a y. So the first thing that it does here is it's adding the two x's together and then dividing by 2. Over here, it's adding the two y's together, dividing by 2. And then it's just solving those, and that's how they got 4, 3.
So it's a 1 plus 7.
Yep, 1 plus 7 divided by 2.
And then 2 plus 4 divided by 2.
Yep. Yep, we'll do practice. Okay. Looking at this one, okay, they added the x's divided by 2. added the y's divided by 2, and then they just evaluated them.
What does that mean?
Solved. So they like solved these right here. Evaluate means solve. Okay, let's do some examples though. So they're gonna give us these 2 points. Okay, so always label to help you until you get used to it. This is our x, this is our y. It always goes x, y. This one's our x, this one's our y. Is everyone good there?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, so I'm gonna write out our formula so we can follow it. What do we do first?
M.
Add the 2 x's together, divide by 2. What do we do next?
Add the 2 y's together and divide by 2.
Good, add the 2 y's together, divide by 2. Now let's plug it in. What are our 2 x values? 2, yep, 2 and 4. So 2 plus 4, and we do divide by 2, right? What are our 2 y values? 5 plus 3, divide by 2, right? So now just solve those. So what's 2 plus 4?
3.
Good. 6 divided by 2 is 3. I ran out of room on right up here. 5 plus 3 divided by 2?
4.
4.
Yes.
Okay. Do we need to do another one together, or can you guys try the next 2 on your own?
I'll attempt it.
Try the next 2? All right. All right. What's our first step when finding midpoint? Add the x's. What are x's? What do we do with those? Good. We add them and then we divide by 2. Yep. And then what's our next step? Add the y's. What are our y's? And then we divide by 2. All right. 0 plus 4? Divide by 2. Negative 2 plus 0? Divide by 2. Everyone get that? Yeah? All right. Okay. Please show your work right there, okay? Because I know it's easy to just, oh, I can do it in my head. But then when you make silly mistakes on a test, I have to tell the whole thing wrong because you didn't show any work.
What?
Okay, so you got to show work.
So we do have to
So what's our first,
I asked this at the beginning.
what's our first step when finding midpoint?
-1 minus -4.
Adding x's, yep, -1 plus -4. Don't forget those negatives. Then we divide by 2. What are our y's?
2 plus 1.
All right, what's -4 plus a -4? -5 divided by 2. You can either write it as a decimal or you can leave it as a fraction. What?
3 over 2.
-2.5. Okay, what are our y's?
3 over 2.
2 plus 1 over 2. Yep, so you get 3 over 2. I don't know why I did that. This is 3. Any questions over midpoint formula? We're good? All right.